Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome right back to the channel. Again, before we get into everything that's about to happen in this video, my name is Isaiah Austin, okay? And this is the IDA Kings video production channel. If you like the channel, like the videos, if you want to subscribe and follow the channel, subscribe to that button. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification to know when I upload and post new videos and stuff like that. I hope y'all been enjoying it so far. Like I said in the last video, I apologize. A lot of things been working, grinding, everything like that, getting everything together. But we'll be back. Some people not gonna remember. You know, I know there's only a few subscribers on here, and I know for a fact that people might not really remember years down the line, right? So, but I'm gonna try to be as consistent as possible and upload as much as I can almost every day. So, but we're gonna get into some football, right? Sunday football, man. The Sunday happened, and the Browns and Vikings played against each other. That was a real tight game, close game. Dylan Gabriel didn't do bad at all. He did some solid stuff, right? He had multiple touchdowns. He didn't throw an interception. I think he was like 19 for 33, 190. He was solid. He was cool. Jenkins, who's Ohio State, he's a beast, man. Over 110 yards, about 20 plus carries. He balled out in that game. And Joku, he was really good. Like 6 receptions, a touchdown, almost 70 yards and stuff like that. Carson Wentz was solid too. He was 25 for 34. He had an injury, then he came back. And he did good. 25 for like 34, I think, for about almost 260 and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson was magical again, just flat out amazing. Doing his thing, 123 yards, 7 receptions. They couldn't really stop him. Addison did good, 5 receptions, 41 yards. It was a close game in that game. The Browns did some good things. The Vikings did some good things too, going up and down the field. The Browns looked overall solid under Gabriel. Gabriel wasn't turning the ball over. He was quick. He processed everything real well. The Browns did some solid stuff defensively. Choked on that last drive that led to the touchdown that Vikings had on the last touchdown. They choked on that stretch down the field. They choked. I ain't gonna lie, it was bad. And they end up losing the game, 21-17. They're not 1-4. Yeah, they did some choking in that situation. The defense made some mistakes, fundamental mistakes that you shouldn't make. And that's what happened. And the Vikings found a way to be clutch in those clutch moments like they have been before throughout the games. Throughout most of Coach O'Connell's career as a head coach with the Vikings so far, and a play caller. He's just been clutch. He knows how to be clutch. He knows what to do in the clutch moments. And they did that on defense and offense down the stretch, especially on offense down the stretch, especially when they were struggling throughout the game overall to score. So shout out to the Vikings for winning. The Browns ended up trading Joe Flacco, and I think they made the right decision, trading Joe Flacco, letting Shador and Dylan Gabriel play, see who can progress. I think those are 2 great quarterbacks that will be great quarterbacks in the future. And I can't wait to see the future when it comes to that. And the Vikings, man, they got to get healthy. But Carson Wentz has been really playing well overall. Carson Wentz has been balling since he's been starting with the Vikings. So he's been real good. And but the Vikings got to get healthy, and then they'll be fine. I think they could be solid. Right? Another game that was checked out, that I checked out and ended up watching, mostly was Commanders versus the Chargers. That was a really, really fun game. I believe the Chargers were went up 10-0, right? They went up 10-0, and then, to be honest, it went downhill from there. There was a time, there was a time where they could have been up 17-0. It's a block, right? It was supposed to be a block kick, and instead it was running into the kicker. They ended up getting the kickoff return. The Chargers ended up running into the end zone for a touchdown, but it got called back for running into the kicker in the end zone, which then led to a big drive with the Commanders that scored a touchdown, I believe, on that drive before halftime. And since then, it was bad. They scored, I believe, on the opening drive of the second half, and it just went downhill from there. They ended up winning 27-10. Okay, the Chargers had a big time struggle in the game, right? Justin Herbert, I think, was 22 for 29. He had 160 yards. He threw a pick, touchdown. He was the leading rusher on the team. All right, he was the leading rusher with 4 carries to 60 yards, right? Ken Allen had 5 receptions for like almost 60 yards. Quentin Johnson did good. He had 4 receptions for 40 yards as well. So he wasn't bad. And then McConkey, he had a touchdown. He had the touchdown caught and stuff like that. But the Commanders did good. Jayden Daniels was solid. Ran the ball well, solidly too, like Justin Herbert did. He passed the ball real well. Had over 230 yards. Had a touchdown. No interceptions or nothing like that. So he was solid too. The Commanders did a good job defensively, putting the Chargers in bad, tough situations. And it was a tough game for them. So they did a good job. The Chargers have to get back on track, and I think they will. Again, they played 3 tough division opponents and won 3-0. That Commanders game was kind of weird. I understand the Giants when they've been traveling a lot, but this one was a little different, But they got to get back on track, try to get a game win. But there's a silver lining with the Chargers because they're 3-0 in the division already, so they own the tiebreaker so far. Now, that's why the Chargers, even they can still come back and really run the tide, because the Raiders are probably not going to lose to the Raiders. The Raiders are having some struggles right now. Denver and the Chiefs, the Chiefs came off a loss, which we'll talk about later on, but them, and then you got Denver, so you got to be careful because they could, sneak around and get you. So you got to be careful if you're the Chargers. So I think, but then with the Commanders, man, they're coming back to form. Jayden Daniels is coming back, playing things of that nature. I think he played in this game. I think he was out, if I'm not mistaken, he might have been out last week, and I think the week before. But he came back, and he did some good stuff in this game. So, they need their leader. They need a guy, that Jayden Daniels, who's a beast. He's a beast, right? He's the best quarterback. He's been the best quarterback coming out. Last year, he was the best quarterback last year for sure, obviously. And, shout out to him. He's been amazing. And the Commanders, man, they could go far and go far really well this year as long as Jayden Daniels is healthy, okay? Another game that was magical, okay? Drake May's beast and Josh Allen, okay? These are great quarterbacks playing. It was on NBC. The Patriots and the Bills were battling it out, had some magical moments. Stephon Diggs was legendary in that game, flat out legendary. It's flat out magical. He had 10 receptions for almost 150 yards. Henry had 2 receptions for 46 yards. Stevenson had 2 touchdowns in the game. Drake May was accurate. He had 273 yards. He was 23 for 30. Flat out amazing. Ball placement was well. Extended plays, extended drives. Josh Allen did the same stuff. He had 9 carries for 53 yards, along with being 22 for 31. He did have an interception. He threw 2 touchdowns, but he did have a key interception in the game. Cook was struggling running the ball a little bit. Dalton Connect, he did good. He had like 6 receptions for over 100 yards, so he did good, right? And I believe Samuel had a reception touchdown, and Coleman had a reception touchdown as well, if I'm not mistaken. So overall, the Bills, Drake May was extending plays, extending drives, holding the ball a good amount to make sure they kept it away from Josh Allen for the most part. But the Bills really they screwed up, right? They had some key penalties that caused drives to stay alive too, I believe so. Overall, the Drake May was clutch. Got him into field goal range, and they kicked the field goal to win the game. That was a really great game. They've had great moments by both teams, and New England looks way different. They look way different than they did last year, and probably that last year with Bill Belichick was their coach, Bill Belichick. So they look good. Coach Mike Vrabel is a great coach. He's a great coach for real. That guy's special. So he knows what to do. So shout out to him. The Patriots team looks real good. The Chiefs, I told you, lost earlier. Now they're 2-3. Okay, and they lost to the Jaguars. Okay, that game probably could have not been closer. There was 2 touchdowns that there were 2 plays that were penalties that should have taken touchdowns off the board, right? One of them for the Chiefs was a pick. It was a legal screen, right? It was illegal. He went down the field, hit somebody way beyond one. I think they say at 1 yard. He went way beyond 1 yard. He went like 2-3 yards, and they picked the flag up, which they shouldn't have done that, and they picked that flag up. Bad decision. There was another one. I think it was an interception the Chiefs had, but there was a pass interference on that play that should have wiped out that interception. You know, it was crazy to me. So, those are 2 touchdowns. It should have been 31-14. But you know, Patrick Mahomes did his thing. He threw an interception, but he did his thing. He was 29 for 41. 318 touch. He do his thing. Come on, man. Kareem Hunt did some good stuff. 7 carries for almost 50 yards, a touchdown. Okay, and he did his thing right there. Isaiah Pacheco, same way. He had 2 touchdowns, right? He had like 7 carries for I think 36 yards. They both were averaging like 5 yards a carry, somewhere in that area overall on average. Smith 3 receptions. I believe it's Taquan Smith. He's a beast, man. He's that deep threat. He's that deep threat for the Chiefs. 3 receptions for 90 yards. Deep threat abilities. Okay, deep threat abilities. Sorry about that. And Kelsey, he was Kelsey. He didn't do crazy. He was like 7 receptions, 60 something yards. Wasn't too crazy, but he had a touchdown. I think that was the one that should not have been a touchdown, but that's neither here nor there. But Trevor Lawrence did some good stuff. He did some clutch things. Okay, 18 for 25, threw 220, threw touchdown interception. All right, he threw a ball that put Travis Hunter in a situation where he can come back and do a circus catch. Travis Hunter was great too. 3 receptions for 64 yards. He was a monster. He did good on defense too. He wasn't getting beat too much. I think I seen him get beat one time on a play. That dude could play corner real well too. I seen him. That was the first time I've seen him in the game, watching him in the NFL so far. You already know it's hard to find these games now. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard. But they, Baker, I believe Washington has a touchdown as well. Brian Thomas did good, 4 receptions for like 80 yards. Okay. ETN had, 12 carries for I think like 49 yards or so. But Trevor Lawrence had 10 carries for like 54 yards and a touchdown too. So he had a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown. He did some good stuff, right? He coming into the game, he had a struggle, right? The new coordinator, things of that nature, dealing with a lot of different head coaches, all that type of stuff. He was completing only 58% of his passes. Wasn't turning the ball over crazy or nothing like that. Only had a few touchdowns as well. But this game was really big for him. He did his thing. Okay, made clutch plays. He fell down. On the play on accident. I think he got his foot stepped on. That happens too with offensive linemen. You're getting under center, the offensive line trying to go back, especially in that pass block. So I understand it. It happens. So he got up, and he even said it. He was gonna throw the ball away, which that would have been smart too. But I was shocked too because no one was around him. I saw that, I'm like, whoa, crazy work. And he went into the end zone and balled out. And now, there's something I want to talk about that. They said Chris Jones was giving up on the play. That's cap. That's flat out cap. He will be a Hall of Famer. And most likely the first ballot Hall of Famer at D tackle. Let me tell you something. He is that dude. He ain't giving up on plays like that. He not. We all know that. So, he thought the play was over, which I understand. And he just lost track of the ball. He thought the play was over. I get it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't give up on that play. That's disrespectful. He did not do that. I don't care what any of these lames say. He did not do that. So don't disrespect my dog like that. He don't. That's not who he is. That's not what he stands for. That's not the game we playing. So he didn't do that. We're not gonna go there. But they did a good job. Um, the the Jaguars are 4-1 now. They looking better than they did the last few years. So hopefully it keeps up. We'll see, right? Because Houston, Houston won the last two. Um, the Colts are right up there. I believe they're 4-1, if I'm not mistaken. Be careful with that. And so they gotta be cautious. Gotta be careful. Those are two teams you gotta watch out for. And Tennessee, that's a whole nother discussion. They're not good right now, but that's a different ball game. But overall, Jaguars looking good so far. Another game. The Eagles lost 2 games in a row. Okay, they lost to the Giants recently on Thursday night. The game before that, though, they lost and blew a lead, and they ended up losing, if I'm not mistaken, to the Broncos. They lost to the Broncos, choked the game away, and that happened. That was at home. They came back into New York when they could have won and got manhandled. They started out right. They started out cool. Saquon Barkley started out real good. He ended up with 12 carries, 58 yards, almost 60 yards. But he had 2 big runs to start. Jalen Hurts wasn't bad. He threw the ball real well. He was accurate with the football. He threw it 33 times, completed 24 out of the 33. Almost had 300 yards, had a touchdown, had an interception. Overall, he wasn't bad. Okay? A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert was killing it too. He had like 9 receptions for 110 yards, touchdown. A.J. Brown had like 6 receptions, 80 yards. Devontae Smith had like 4 receptions, 49 yards. Right? That's not bad. Right? Those things are not bad, but the Giants, that defense for the Eagles was bad. The Giants let Jackson Dart do whatever. He was accurate with the ball. He was running the ball. He almost had 200 yards and a touchdown. And then he had 13 carries for 58 yards. Cam Scatterable ran the ball all over them. I think he almost had 100 yards on 19 carries and I believe a few touchdowns. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 3, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But he balled out, right? He just cooked and killed it. Robinson had like 6 receptions, 84 yards, and a touchdown. Along with Humphrey, he killed it. I think he had like 4 receptions, and he had some good yards too, if I'm not mistaken. Trying like 50-something yards or so, maybe more. So the Giants just manhandled them. They manhandled them. And the Eagles had a solid start, but, again, like I said, the Giants started coming out, pulling away, punching them, and dominating them, right? That's what happened. That's the truth. So the Eagles, I think they'll be fine. They got to get better, especially on offense, but overall. But I think they'll be fine. They'll be fine, bro. They'll be completely fine. I ain't worried about it. They'll be all right. We going into now the Sunday morning all the way up to Monday. Okay? It's about to be fun. It's about to be real fun. Okay? The first one in the morning, 9:30 a.m. on Sunday, is the Broncos versus the Jets. I think they're in London, if I'm not mistaken. All right, the Jets are trying to get a win. The Broncos are trying to go 4-2. It's a big win for Broncos if they go 4-2. You do not want to lose to the Jets when they're 0-5. You don't want to do that. Okay, so that game is big. 1 p.m. games start with the Browns versus the Steelers, a rivalry game throughout history of time. When it goes to sports, this is historically a hated rivalry right here. Okay, they're going to be in Pittsburgh playing against Aaron Rodgers, that legend. Dylan Gabriel, who's a rookie, is going against Aaron Rodgers, who's played so long in this league, and he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Okay, this is going to be a fun matchup. Both defenses are really competitive, real feisty. They got 2 great players, T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett, ballers. They got great secondary players as well. Okay, I think they also, I think the Browns traded one of the corners, Newsome. I think they traded. I think it was Newsome. Real good corner. They traded him. So we're gonna see how this goes, man. It's gonna be fun. Okay, the Chargers versus Dolphins. The Chargers are also trying to get back on the win column in Miami. They're trying to go 4-2, and they're trying to beat the Dolphins, force them to 1-5. But the Dolphins has been up and down. And they're trying to get back and ride the ship, man. This is a tough ship they're on. They're trying to ride it, but they will have problems because they could lose to the Chargers. The Chargers trying to come out and prove something. So you got that's one of them. Patriots versus Saints. The Saints are 1-4. The Saints ended up upsetting the Giants the week before the Giants beat the Eagles. That's why that Giants win against the Eagles was even more shocking because they lost to the Saints, who the Saints didn't have a win at the time. So the Patriots are 3-2, trying to go to 4-2. Right? They're trying to get on a good start. They're trying to get on a good track, and they're trying to go 4-2. They're 1-0 in their they I believe are 2-0. I think in their division because I know they won another division game, but they beat the Bills. I know they won one more. I forgot that one. I apologize for that, but the Patriots are on a good track. They're trying to go 4-2, be on a good track to getting it done. So that's going to be a fun situation. The Rams versus the Ravens. Okay, this is big. Lamar Jackson's not playing in this game, so this is a big situation. The Rams need to get this win because they're going without Lamar and other players that are injured too. So the Rams have to win that game at 4-2. They got to. It's just what it is, and they got to go 4-2. The Ravens are trying not to be bad because if they start out 1-5, 1-6 without Lamar, they're going to be in a deep hole anyway, especially in the AFC North where that division is not easy to play in. So so they got to try to get that win but the Rams definitely need to because the Ravens have all these injuries. Cardinals versus Colts. Colts will probably have a real good chance of winning. They could go 5-1. Why? Because Kyler Murray's not playing in the game at quarterback because of an injury. So, but the Colts look good. They look real good. Daniel Jones is a really good player. He could be most improved player of the year. He might be a leading candidate when it comes to that award. He's so good and he's so special. And the Giants, man, I can't speak on the Giants, but the Giants is a bad organization. They've been bad for a little while. Even the last few years those few years, a little bit before Eli retired officially, but then they really were bad even after that. But yeah, man, overall, so they let go of Saquon Barkley, who won the Super Bowl and who probably might win another one this year or next year or something like that. And then Daniel Jones is with the Colts balling now, so it's unbelievable, pretty dope. Seahawks are playing the Jaguars. The Jaguars are trying to go 5-1. The Seahawks are trying to go 4-2. That game's gonna be good. That game's gonna be fun to watch, guys, because Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, both were magical in the game, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won a close game, a clutch game like they've been doing all year. They've won a clutch game off the field goal, but Sam Darnold was great in that game. So shout out to Sam Darnold. He was a beast. He was a beast in that game. That game could be fun as well. Be careful of that. Be careful of that. That's going to be fun. Now, it's going to be 4 o'clock to 4:25 games. One of the games is the Cowboys versus the Panthers. The Cowboys are 2-2-1. Last week they had a big win, great game against the Jets, dominate them. They're playing against the Panthers, who's trying to win their third game. They're 2-3, which is not a bad start compared to what it really could be because they've been up and down. So the Panthers are trying to win a tough game, go 3-3, make the Cowboys go 2-3-1, and the Cowboys are trying to go 3-2-1. So that could be a solid game. Titans versus Raiders. They're both 1-4. That's going to be a tough game to watch probably for people, but hopefully that's a good one. Hopefully that ends up being a good one. The 49ers and Buccaneers both have injuries. Mike Evans, I don't believe, is playing. I think Godwin is not playing. I think Bruce Irving might not be playing either, if I'm not mistaken. And the 49ers, they're without Brock Purdy. But Mac Jones has been amazing. Mac Jones is a really great quarterback. He was great at New England, especially his first year, maybe his second year. But then now he's with the 49ers, and he's been balling with the 49ers. So he's playing. So the 49ers can beat the Buccaneers. They have a chance. The Buccaneers can still win without their receiving core, especially if you have Ibuka, who's a beast, who had a great game that week too. He was balling and dog. And you feel me? He was killing it. He was a monster. He's from Ohio State as well. They got some great receivers at Ohio State. That's Ohio State. That's receiver U right now. That's one. They have probably the best receiving core in history of football. So yeah, man. So the Bucs could still win. That's going to be a fun game, I think, still, even with the injuries. Bengals and Packers. Joe Flacco got traded to the Bengals. But the Packers, man, I think they're 2-1-1. They could go 3-1-1. Because the Bengals are struggling, man. They're going to struggle for a minute. They're going to struggle. They're going to have some struggles. And to be honest, at this point, the way it's looking, they're going to have to just sit Joe Burrow for the rest of the year. And hope he don't re-aggravate no injury or nothing crazy. So, but so that I'm not really having high expectations for the Bengals right now, especially not against that Packers team, especially that defense with the injuries they got on offense for the Bengals. I'm not expecting much, but hopefully it is a good game. 8:20, man. This one's gonna be fun. Lions versus Chiefs. The Lions, after losing to the Packers, have been amazing, and the Chiefs are not consistent right now to beat a team like the Lions. But you want to know the common denominator is they got Kelsey, they got Patrick Mahomes, and they got Coach Andy Reid. That's it. When you got that, and you got Coach Steve Spagnuolo, who makes the defense dominate, man. So the Lions could score on them, but that defense, I think, is going to give them some trouble. If the Lions pull away, it's going to be a fight before they do that. That's going to be a tough game, right? That's going to be a fun game because of the star power that's in that game. It's going to be fun. And I know the Chiefs are probably like, oh, man, they probably think the Chiefs are out. You can't count them out. I just told you. Steve Spagnuolo, coach, defensive coordinator. Andy Reid, head coach, and calling plays most of the time, I believe. I know Matt Nagy's there, too. And he probably helped. And I don't know. I think Andy Reid probably calling the plays, but Matt Nagy's there who helps. And who is the OC? You got Patrick Mahomes, who's the quarterback, who's one of the greatest who ever played the game. And then Kelsey is probably the greatest tight end who ever played the game. So you got that. So they're going to be competitive in the game, win, lose, or draw. So, but the Lions got so much power, so much dominance, and they're going to be fine. Okay. Another great game, Falcons 2-2 versus the Bills 4-1. The Falcons are trying to go 3-2, win that game in Atlanta. Okay, but Bills have other plans. They have other plans. And they got Josh Allen, and they're trying to get back on track after losing, if I'm not mistaken, losing at home, obviously, to the Patriots. So they got to come out and try to beat the Falcons in Atlanta. And then the Bears, who is 2-2, who's looking better, who's looking solid, Caleb Williams has been really good. Last year as a rookie, he was solid to me. Like 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 3,500 yards, putting up numbers. Great numbers. Especially for a rookie in his first year with the Bears. He's balling. He's playing even better this year. I think he only has 1 interception. He has like 10 plus touchdowns. This dude is a monster. They had a bye week. Plus they had extra time off too. Because the game was Monday instead of Sunday. So they had a little day, extra day. Yeah, good stuff. And then they play the Commanders. Jayden Daniels, rookie of the year last year. Last year, that game was magical. It turned the Bears' season upside down. The Commanders had a game-winning Hail Mary. And I think a Bears defender was talking on to the sideline or something. Talking, I don't know what he was doing. And and then they caught it. I ain't saying he was the main reason why that happened, but you never know, right? You got to be in the right position. That was last season. It is a rematch of it. And, again, they're back. I think they were in Washington last year. They're back up there again. So, this is going to be fun on Monday night. I cannot wait for this. This is about to be fun, too. Overall, right, it's been a great time of college NFL football and college football. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about recapping college football Saturday. That was some magical stuff, guys. I'm telling you right now, there was some big games that happened. Ranked opponents. There was some historical upsets again. Okay? Historical upsets that you will be shocked at. I couldn't believe them when I was watching some of them. And then I heard about some that I couldn't watch as much. There was a whole bunch of games on, like always, that I couldn't believe happened. Okay? It was unbelievable what was going on. It was unbelievable. So that's in the next video, man. I am excited. I cannot wait for more football. And I can't wait to keep doing the channel and do different things on the channel, like I said before. It's going to get there. I'm telling you, it's going to get there. We're going to have some fun. have different conversations, watch different things, do what we do, right? It's going to be fun. Again, my name is Isaiah Austin, and welcome to the IDA Kings Video Production Channel. Subscribe to the channel if you like the channel and you want to follow the channel. Hit the like button on these videos if you like the videos. Hit the bell notification to know when I am uploading a new video, okay? Support the channel as much as you can, and I definitely will support you. All right, I appreciate all y'all, and y'all have a great Sunday. Peace.